Okay, this is just a really quick video that we're making here in the shop to show the adjustments on our new mid-size model. First thing you're going to need is you're going to need a 9/16 wrench. Probably recommend a 9/16 short ratchet and socket, a 1/8 Allen, and a little nut or bolt or screw or piece of metal, just something that you can use as a wedge. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the Scorpion, and you want to hold it open, and you're going to take that nut, bolt, screw, and you're going to stick it in to the between the bearing support and the clevis. And you'll notice what that will do is that will hold it in a somewhat level position. Okay, that'll just help you when it comes time to actually do the actual adjustments. Next thing we're going to do is we need to take the 9/16 and we're going to loosen this clevis nut right here. This is where this other ratchet will come in handy. They're on there a little tight and it's a little difficult to hold it. So one of the tricks you can do, if you're by yourself, you can actually take this and put it in a vise, or if you have a buddy to help you, you can actually put that on, lay it down flat, and it'll actually hold that for you. Have your buddy hold that ratchet, and then what you can do is then you can loosen up that nut. And once you get that nut loose, there you go. Once you get that nut loose, then you want to go ahead and spin it off a couple times, and now you'll notice that everything is real loose and we can move it around. Okay, try not to let this thing spin around. Just try and keep it, in the position that it was. Next thing you're going to do is going to take it. You're going to take your Allen. And remember, again, it's a 1/8 Allen. And what we're going to do is we're going to loosen up the Allen bolts that hold the bearing support, and we're going to remove those. Definitely don't lose these. They're kind of special, and you don't want to lose them. If you lose them, then you're going to have to get a hold of us on our website, of course, scorpion-lock.com, and we'll have to get you another set. So once that's done, you'll notice that you can actually split it apart from the frame. Okay, now when we're doing our adjustments, what we're going to do is we're going to actually rotate this counterclockwise. We'll make a bigger gap, it'll make it longer, and what that will do is that will loosen your brake pressure, or you can go in one turn and it will tighten your brake pressure. You could probably do 2 or 3 turns in and at least 3 or 4 out. However, what we recommend is when you're making your adjustments, do one at a time, because one complete turn of this thing is actually good for a 1/16 of an inch, maybe a little more. And what that does is that transfers up to the brake pedal, and as it goes up, it actually makes a big difference. So on this particular one, we're going to say that we needed to loosen the brake pressure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it one complete turn counterclockwise. And what I've done is I've now moved that thing out. You can see about a 1/16 of an inch from the nut. Okay. With that being done, I'm going to take my finger here and I'm just going to hand tighten that clevis nut back up. And what that will do is that will kind of hold it in place a little bit so it doesn't spin around as much. Then you're going to take it and you're going to put it all back together. So what we're going to do is line up your holes so you can get your Allens back in. Take your wrench and just don't tighten them down, just kind of get them in there a little bit to where you still have a little bit of movement. You'll notice that there's some movement in there. Okay, so what we want to do is I want to make sure when you're doing this, you want to make sure that this shaft here is not hitting either side of the frame here. So you'll notice, see right there, it's hitting the frame. And I can move it in. See how it's hitting the frame there? So what we're going to do is I just want to make sure that it's somewhat centered. You might not get it perfect, but try and get it as centered as possible. And then you're going to tighten your nuts down, tighten the Allens down, and it's centered. So what you can do too, is you can always get a little block of metal or something, and you can set it down and set this on there. And what that will do is that will kind of hold it flat so that you can take your Allens and put a good little tweak on it. And like I said, you want it pretty snug because that's where that holds everything. And then you want to make sure that you have a little bit of a gap here and a little bit of gap up here. Up here, up here. Notice it's not riding the frame. Okay? So once we've done that, you'll notice that the whole time I've been trying to hold this into position so it doesn't spin, so I don't lose my adjustment that I just made. So now what we're gonna do is you're gonna open it up, and whatever you have in there should fall out, and then let it come and hit the stop. Now what we're gonna do is you don't want it to be here, you don't want it to be up like this or anything, because it actually, this little wing here is actually the stop. So what you want to do is going to make sure that they're even and flat, and you want to get it as even as flat as possible. Now we have to hold that into position as we retighten the clevis nut. So what you can do is, if you got like incredibly strong fingers, which I don't, you can kind of hold it and get it snug and do it that way. But what we recommend is go get that friend of yours again that helped you. And what you're going to do is, again, you can put this in a vise or have a buddy hold it, and then you're going to take it and just put it in there, get it nice and tight, let it stand on itself. And then what I do is I grab it, I put my thumb here so I can hold it level, and then I use my fingers and I hold the wing, and that way I kind of keep it level. And then take your 9/16 and you're just going to snug that up. And the reason it's good to do it this way and hold it is because then I can put as much pressure this way as I can hold. And now that thing is really nice and snug, and it's nice and level. Everything looks back the way it should be. Now you'll notice we have a little bit bigger gap in here. So what we've done, again, like I said, we've loosened the brake pressure on it, and then just make sure everything works. Nothing's hitting, everything looks fine on it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it and we're gonna install it back on the car using the instructions that came with the kit. And check your pressures and stuff. If you need more. If you need to go back the other way, then take it off and go back the other way. Thank you.